Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. It's like a broken record. It's always the same story over and over. My name is Ethan Parker. I'm 31 years old and I'm a talented architect. I was involved in the design of a high-profile city opera house project. It's the program that made me famous in the industry. My wife Olivia and I, and our adorable 7-year-old son Charlie, and 6-year-old twin daughters Emma and Sophia, lives in an upscale apartment in the center of town, living a quiet, happy life. Our lives look so good. I'm a fish out of water at work. Being involved in design projects not only allows me to be creative, it also generates a good income for the family. Olivia is a tender and caring wife, and a devoted mother. Our children are healthy, active, and energetic. Our parents live in the neighborhood and often come to visit the kids. They also enjoy spoiling their grandchildren. Olivia's sister Lily doesn't live far away. We've always had good family relations. To supplement her income, Olivia works as a nurse in a private clinic. Dr. Nathan Reed, the clinic's director and surgeon, is a middle-aged man with a successful career, well known in the medical community. At first, we didn't notice anything unusual. However, over time, I began to notice some subtle changes. Olivia began to pay more attention to her appearance, wearing makeup and buying new clothes. Her hours have gotten longer. Sometimes I don't even get home till late. At first, I thought it was just her wanting to be more professional at work, so I didn't think much of it. Until one day, when I was picking up Olivia from work at the clinic, overheard Dr. Reed seeming overly close to Olivia. There was a certain gleam in his eyes that I couldn't ignore, and Olivia doesn't seem to be bothered by it. At that moment, I felt a pang of unease, but I tell myself that maybe I'm just being paranoid. I'm starting to look in the dark, trying to find some evidence to confirm or dispel my suspicions. I've noticed that Olivia's cell phone always stays on the lock screen. She's also started avoiding certain phone calls in front of me. There were times when I woke up in the middle of the night, found her whispering on the balcony. When I ask, she always says it's work. I tried to communicate with Olivia, ask her if she's under too much pressure at work, or if there's something on your mind. But every time she replied that everything was fine. It's just that I've been working a lot. I can feel the distance between us slowly widening, but I don't know how to stop it. Finally, on a normal Friday night, when our kids were all spending the night at my parents' house, Olivia's decided to show her cards. She was wearing a beautiful black dress with exquisite makeup. Looks beautiful. I was just about to give her a compliment when she spoke up. "Ethan, we need to talk." Her tone was serious, and I immediately realized that things were not going well. "I'm in love with Nathan," she said bluntly. "I know this is hard for you to accept, but I can't hide it any longer." I felt a wave of vertigo, as if the whole world was spinning. Trying to remain calm, I asked, "You mean Dr. Reed? You've?" Olivia nods. "Yes, we've been together for a while. But Ethan, I don't want a divorce. We still have our children. We still have this family. I hope you understand and accept the situation." I can't believe my ears. "You're asking me to accept your relationship with another man, and at the same time maintain our marriage?" "Yes," she said calmly. Nathan agreed. "He thinks it's better for everyone. You can continue to be a father to your children, and we can keep things the way they are. I'll have more freedom." I felt a strong sense of anger and betrayal come over me, but I try to keep my emotions in check. "Olivia, you can't expect me to agree to this ridiculous arrangement. Is that fair to our children? Kids don't need to know the details," she argued. "We can go on living as we are now. It's just that I'll be with Nathan sometimes. It won't affect you or the kids." I shook my head in disbelief at the woman in front of me, the one I thought I understood. "No, Olivia. I can't take this. If you choose to stay with Dr. Reed, then our marriage is over." Just then, the doorbell rang. Olivia looked at her watch and said, "That's Nathan. He's picking me up for the weekend. Ethan, I want you to think about this. It's what's best for all of us. I stood there and watched Olivia gracefully make her way to the door. When she opened the door, I saw Dr. Reed standing there, with a triumphant smile on his face. At that moment, I felt my peaceful and happy life completely collapse. When Olivia opens the door and lets Nathan in, I felt an intense rage sweep through my body. Nathan was wearing an expensive custom suit with an arrogant smile on his face, with a burly bodyguard behind him. "Good evening, Ethan," Nathan said in a condescending tone. "I assume Olivia has explained our arrangement to you?" I held back my anger and replied coldly, "Yes, she told me about your arrangement, but I think it's clear to all of you that I would never accept such a ridiculous offer." Nathan seemed unimpressed by my reaction. He turned to Olivia and in a commanding tone said, "Honey, go pack your stuff. We have a great weekend ahead of us." Watching Olivia nod obediently as she leaves, I felt a heartache. Nathan turned to me and started showing off his wealth and status. "Listen, Ethan," he said, "I realize this may be a bit overwhelming for you, but think of the benefits you'll get if you cooperate with us. I can help you get more opportunities in the construction world. Take your career to the next level. You and the kids can continue to live in this luxury apartment and enjoy a high quality of life. Isn't this a win-win situation?" I sneered. "Do you think you can buy my conscience with money and favors?" "Nathan, you're so naive." Nathan's expression turned somber. "Ethan, I urge you to think this through. Do you know how much influence I have in this city? If you don't cooperate, I can easily destroy your career. You'll lose your job, you'll lose this apartment, you might even lose your kids. Do you really want to risk it?" Hearing him threaten my children, I felt a chill. But I know that if I back out now, I'll never forgive myself. I decided to fight back. "Nathan," I said calmly, "you think you're the only one with a chip on your shoulder? In case you didn't know, I have my own cards." I saw a flash of unease in Nathan's eyes. I continued, "Did you know I was in the Marines before? I served 2 tours of duty in the Middle East, and some of my comrades are now in intelligence. If you think you can threaten me with your influence, then I think you may have underestimated my network of contacts." Nathan's face turned grim, but I didn't stop. "Oh yeah, there's one more thing you might be interested in. Do you remember that medical malpractice 2 years ago? The patient who was paralyzed because of your mistake? I happen to know his family, and they've been looking for evidence that would prove your negligence. Maybe I should tell them that I know something inside that they don't?" Nathan's face turned pale instantly. "You're bluffing," he said through gritted teeth. "You have nothing." I smiled. "Maybe, but are you willing to risk it? Not to mention, do you think Olivia will keep your secret forever? What if one day she changes her mind?" Just then, Olivia walks out with her duffel bag. She saw our saber rattling and asked uneasily, "What happened?" Nathan puts on his composure and says to Olivia, "Nothing, dear. Just going over some details with Ethan." Then he turned to his bodyguard and whispered something. Suddenly, the burly bodyguard charged at me. It's been years since I've been involved in combat training, but the instincts of an ex-Marine made me react quickly. I sidestepped his first blow and then used his momentum to drop him to the ground. Nathan looked surprised. Obviously, I didn't think I had it in me. He became enraged and shouted at the bodyguard, "Give him a hard time." The bouncer got up from the ground and lunged at me again. This time, he moved more cautiously. We tangled in the living room, pushed over the coffee table, broke a couple of vases. Olivia's screaming and begging us to stop, but Nathan is fanning the flames. Just then, I saw the bodyguard pull a pistol out of his waistband. In that moment, my fighting instincts fully awakened. I quickly lunged for my gun, which was hidden under the coffee table. Before the bodyguard could take aim, I had already opened fire. The bodyguard fell to the ground with a scream as a gun went off with a bang, and his gun fell to the floor. I immediately kicked his gun away and pointed my own at his head. Nathan and Olivia are frozen. Obviously didn't expect things to go this far. I said calmly, "Nathan, it's your turn now. Get your cell phone out, put it on speaker, and call your wife." Nathan trembled and did as he was told. When the call came through, I blurted out, "Mrs. Reed, This is Ethan Parker. I'm sorry to bother you so late. I thought you might need to know that your husband is at my house right now with my wife, Olivia. They've been cheating on each other for months. Tonight they were going to spend the weekend together. Oh yeah, and Nathan brought a bodyguard to threaten me. Now that bodyguard is lying on my floor, shot once. The police will be here soon. You might want to come and see what's going on. There was a scream and a cry on the other end of the line. And then the phone hung up. Nathan's face turned white. He stammered. You're crazy. Do you realize what you've done? I sneered. I'm just telling the truth, Nathan. Haven't you always wanted to go public? Now as you wish. Just then, the sound of a siren came from the distance. Nathan and Olivia are both panicking and don't know what to do. I felt a wave of exhaustion come over me. After the adrenaline from earlier subsided, I realized I was injured in the fight. My vision is starting to blur, and I'm getting dizzy. Before I lost consciousness, I saw a worried look on Olivia's face. She held out her hand to me as if to hold me up, but it's too late. I feel like I'm falling into darkness. The sirens are getting closer, but I can't hear them anymore. My last thought was, no matter what happens next, at least I defended my honor. And then I lost all consciousness. I woke up in the hospital with a splitting headache. Despite the pain, I'm glad to be alive. However, I soon realized that I was not in a good place. A police officer was standing by my bed. Turn round and say, Mr. Ethan Parker, I'm Detective Johnson. You are charged with domestic violence, unlawful possession of a firearm, and attempted murder. We need you to cooperate with the investigation. I looked at him in amazement. I couldn't believe my ears. What's that supposed to mean? I'm a victim, not a criminal. Detective Johnson replied coldly. Based on the testimony of Dr. Nathan Reed, Olivia Parker, and Max Thompson, you were drunk and violent to your wife and tried to kill Dr. Reed and his bodyguard. We found your gun at the scene, along with signs of a struggle. I tried to sit up, but a severe headache made me fall back down. This is nonsense. They're lying. I was defending myself. The detective didn't seem to take my words seriously. We'll do a full investigation, Mr. Parker. Now, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. Just then, a nurse walked in. I'm sorry, officer. The patient needs to rest. You can come back later. The detective nodded and said to me before turning to leave, when you're released from the hospital, we'll make a formal arrest. In the meantime, you can't leave the hospital. When the detective left, I felt a pang of despair. I realized that Nathan and Olivia were working together to set me up, and I'm powerless to resist. I closed my eyes and tried to clear my head. A few days later, I was transferred to the prison. I felt isolated as I waited for the trial. My lawyer, Sam, is a public defender. He doesn't seem too hopeful about my case. It's not looking too good, Mr. Parker, Sam said in one of the meetings. The prosecution has 3 witnesses against you and physical evidence to support their story. I suggest you consider plea bargaining, which may result in a lesser sentence. I shook my head and said firmly, I'm not pleading guilty, Sam. I'm innocent. Sam sighed. I understand how you feel, but there's no strong evidence. We're going to have a hard time winning this case. Just when I'd almost given up hope, an unexpected person gave me a chance. My Uncle Jack, a retired Marine colonel, visited me. Ethan, my boy, Uncle Jack said to me through the glass. I heard what happened. I can't believe you would do those things. Tell me the truth. I told Uncle Jack everything, including Olivia's betrayal, Nathan's threats, and everything that happened that night. Uncle Jack listened attentively, nodding now and then. I believe you, Ethan. He concluded. I'll help you. I know some old friends who are very influential in the legal profession. We'll find out the truth. Uncle Jack's support gave me new hope. Over the next few weeks, he visited me frequently. Each time it brings something new to the table. We found something interesting. One day Uncle Jack said mysteriously, Dr. Nathan Reed seems to have some dark secrets. We're looking into his past medical malpractice. At the same time, Sam started defending me more vigorously. With the help of Uncle Jack, he found some favorable evidence. We got a hit on the security footage from your apartment building. Sam said excitedly in one of the meetings. No shots of your home, though. But it can be proven that Nathan and his bodyguard entered armed. It doesn't fit with their testimony. As the trial date approaches, I feel nervous and hopeful at the same time. Uncle Jack told me he found a key witness. It could turn the tide. Finally, the trial has begun. The prosecution began by presenting their case. Nathan, Olivia, and Max took turns testifying. Describes how I got drunk and violent, how to threaten their lives. I sat in the dock and listened to the lies. Feelings of anger and helplessness. When it was the defense's turn, Sam did a surprisingly good job. He cross-examined every witness. The contradictions in their testimonies were pointed out. When Sam showed the surveillance footage, the court was in an uproar. Gentlemen of the jury, Sam said, this video clearly shows that Dr. Reed and his bodyguards entered Mr. Parker's apartment armed. This is completely inconsistent with their previous testimony. We can't help but wonder what else they're hiding. But the real turning point came when the witness Uncle Jack found took the stand. That's a nurse from Nathan's clinic. She claims to have overheard Nathan and Olivia plotting against me. I heard Dr. Reed say. The nurse testified. We have to make Ethan look like a violent drunk so that no one will take him at his word. Mrs. Parker looks disturbed. But Dr. Reed says he'll take care of everything. The court was in an uproar. I saw Nathan and Olivia go pale, exchanging horrified looks with each other. Finally, it's my turn to testify. With Sam's guidance, I calmly recounted what happened. I described Olivia's betrayal, Nathan's threats, and how I was forced to defend myself that night. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I said to the jury, I'm just protecting myself and my family. After lengthy deliberations, the jury finally returned. When the judge read the verdict of not guilty, I felt a sense of relief. The courtroom erupted in cheers, and Uncle Jack patted me on the back. However, this is not the end. The prosecutor then announced, lawsuit to be filed against Nathan, Olivia, and Max. Charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. I walked out of the courtroom feeling both relieved and exhausted. Even though I won the case, what I lost I'll never get back. My marriage has broken down and my trust has been severely compromised. Uncle Jack put his arm around my shoulder and said, You're free, boy. It's time to rebuild your life. I nodded and took a deep breath. I know there's a long road ahead, but at least the truth is out there. Now I can begin the healing process. Make a fresh start for yourself and your kids. As I walked down the steps of the courthouse, the sun shone warmly on my face. I realized that despite all that I had survived, now it's time to face new challenges and start my life over again. After the court fiasco, I thought life would soon return to normal. However, the reality is not so simple. Although I was cleared of the charges, the storm had a profound effect on my life. Nathan, Olivia, and Max were all indicted for perjury and obstruction of justice. The trial will begin soon. I testified as a key witness. As I watched them sit in the dock, I had mixed feelings. I don't gloat, even though they've hurt me before. I just hope justice is served. Ultimately, the court issued a judgment. Nathan was sentenced to 11 years in prison for multiple offenses. Max received a 7-year sentence for a relatively minor offense, and Olivia, for cooperating with the prosecution to reveal more. Sentence reduced to 3 years. Watching Olivia being taken away was a mixed bag of emotions. Despite her betrayal, she was the mother of my children. I can't help but worry about how the kids are going to cope with such a change of heart. Uncle Jack tapped me on the shoulder and said, Son, I know this is hard for you. But remember, you still have us and your children. We'll get through this together. When I got home, I had to face reality. I need to raise 3 kids by myself, while also dealing with work and daily life. Luckily, my family and friends reached out for help. Aunt and Uncle Jack often come to help with the kids. Olivia's sister, Lily, helped in any way she could. The hardest part is explaining to the kids what's going on. Charlie's old enough to understand things. But for Emma and Sophia, the situation was too much. I try to explain it in a way they can understand. Said Mom made a mistake and needed some time away to make up for it. Nevertheless, I could see the confusion and hurt in their eyes. Day by day, We're slowly adjusting to the new pace of life. I learned how to tie my daughter's hair, how to prepare lunchboxes that all three kids love. I've also learned how to balance work and family. Each day was full of challenges, but also full of laughter and warmth. In the second month of Olivia's incarceration, I got a letter from her. At first, I didn't want to read it, but finally decided to open it. In the letter, Olivia expresses deep apologies and regrets. She wrote, "Dear Ethan, I know my apology may be meaningless, but I'll say it anyway. I'm sorry. I regret my selfishness and stupidity to no end. I hurt you. I hurt our children, and I ruined my own life. Here, I have a lot of time to reflect on my behavior. I realized what a wonderful family I once had and how foolish I was to throw it away. I know you'll probably never forgive me, and I don't expect you to. But I hope you will allow me to remain the mother of my children. I will try to change and try to be a better person. I'm taking the paralegal program offered here. Hopefully it will prepare me for a fresh start when I get out of prison. Again, I apologize, and please kiss the children for me. Olivia." After reading the letter, I couldn't stay calm for a long time. Despite the damage Olivia's behavior has done, but I realized that keeping the resentment alive wasn't doing anyone any good, especially for the kids. I decided to write Olivia back, tell her how the kids are doing, and that I would like to keep her involved in the children's lives. I wrote, "Olivia, thank you for the letter. I understand how you feel right now, and I'm glad you're preparing for the future. The children miss you, and I will convey your love as you requested. We're all trying to adjust to our new lives. It's not easy, but we're getting stronger every day. I'm not going to stop you from connecting with your kids. We can arrange a video call at your convenience. Kids need to know that even though you're not around right now, you still love them. As between us, it will take time to heal. But I think you should know that I no longer hold a grudge against you. We've all made mistakes. It's how we learn and grow from them that matters. Take care. Ethan." Over the next few days, we established a new normal. The children have regular video calls with Olivia. I'll take them to visit her on the holidays, too. Seeing Olivia trying to change herself and trying to rebuild her relationship with her children. And I'm calming down. 3 years later, Olivia was released from prison. With Uncle Jack's help, she found a job as a legal assistant. We agreed on a joint custody arrangement, enabling children to have both a father's and mother's love, even though we're no longer married. But we learned how to be good co-parents. At kids' birthday parties, school events, and holiday parties, we all show up and give the kids a harmonious family atmosphere. Life is slowly getting back on track. I've made new accomplishments at work, designed several projects that have received industry recognition. The children also excel in school. Charlie even got interested in architecture. One night, after putting the kids to bed, I stood on the balcony and looked out over the city at night. I look back on these years with a lot of emotion. We've been through betrayals, accusations, trials, and finally finding the path of forgiveness and reconciliation. I'm reminded of something Uncle Jack used to say. Life is like architecture, Ethan. Sometimes you need to tear something down to build something better. Yes, our family was demolished, but from the rubble, we rebuilt new relationships, new lives. This process of rebuilding is full of pain and challenges, but it also brings growth and redemption. I took a deep breath and felt the cool night air. I know there are many challenges ahead, but right now, I'm hopeful for the future. We've been through the worst of it. Now, we're stronger than ever. I turned around and went back inside, gently closing the balcony door behind me. Tomorrow is a new day, full of possibilities. Whatever the future holds, I know we can face it. Because we've learned the most valuable lesson of all. Forgiveness not only saves others, it's more likely to save you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.